My father decided I'm his retirement fund without ever asking me. I'm 26 years old, the oldest of three kids, and I just found out that my entire future has apparently already been planned out for me. Not by me, by my dad. And honestly, I don't even know where to begin unpacking this mess. Growing up, my father always had this saying he'd repeat whenever things got tough or when family drama would bubble up. Family looks out for family, he'd tell us, usually with his hand on our shoulder and that serious dad look in his eyes. For years, I internalized that message. I thought he meant we should be there for each other emotionally. You know, the kind of support that actually matters. Being present during hard times, celebrating victories together, having each other's backs when life gets messy, that kind of thing. Turns out, I completely misunderstood what he meant by that phrase, and I only figured that out last week. My dad has never been what you'd call financially responsible. That's not me being harsh, that's just stating facts. For as long as I can remember, there's never been a savings account, no retirement fund, no 401k, nothing set aside for the future. Every paycheck that came in went right back out the door, usually on things that definitely weren't necessities. Don't get me wrong, we weren't living in poverty. My dad worked, and he worked hard at his job. But the money management part? That was never his strong suit. Over the years, I watched him drop serious cash on a series of trucks. Not one truck that he maintained, but multiple trucks, each one supposedly better than the last. There were vacations, too. Some pretty expensive ones, actually, where we'd go somewhere nice, but then come home to struggle paying bills for months afterward. And beer. So much money spent on beer. Cases and cases of it, week after week, year after year. I never really questioned it much when I was younger because, well, he was the adult and I was the kid. I figured he knew what he was doing. I assumed that somewhere, somehow, he had a plan for the future. That there was some secret account or investment I didn't know about because why would a parent share those details with their child? Fast forward to last week. I'm over at my parents' house, just stopping by after finishing a shift at one of my jobs. I work 2 jobs right now, which is exhausting but necessary because rent in my area is absolutely brutal. Even with both paychecks, I'm barely staying afloat. Some months I'm choosing between groceries and putting gas in my car. It's that tight. My dad asks me to sit down at the kitchen table. He's got this look on his face, the one he uses when he's about to have what he considers a man-to-man conversation. I'm thinking maybe he wants to talk about my mom. Or maybe one of my siblings is having problems. I sit down, ready to listen and help however I can. Then he just comes out with it. No build-up, no gentle lead-in, nothing. I'm counting on you to take care of me when I stop working. That's what good sons do. I just sat there, completely frozen. My brain couldn't process what I was hearing. Take care of him? Like financially? He continues talking, laying out his expectations like we're discussing some deal that was signed years ago that I somehow forgot about. He's planning to retire in the next few years. He doesn't have anything saved, but that's fine according to him because I'll be there to help. He's already been doing the math in his head. He figures with what I make from both my jobs, I should be able to cover his expenses. His expenses. Not split them, not help occasionally, cover them. Rent for wherever he decides to live, food, utilities, medical costs, entertainment, everything. The worst part? He didn't ask. He didn't say, would you be willing to help me out? Or can we talk about my future and maybe figure something out together? No, he informed me. He assumed. He decided years ago, apparently, that this was going to be the arrangement, and he was just now getting around to telling me about it. I sat there trying to find words, any words, but I was in complete shock. When I finally managed to speak, I asked him if he was serious. He looked at me like I was the one being unreasonable. Of course I'm serious, he said. I raised you, fed you, put a roof over your head. Now it's your turn. I tried to explain my situation. I told him about how I'm barely making it as it is, how I'm working 2 jobs and still living paycheck to paycheck, how some weeks I'm eating nothing but ramen and eggs because that's all I can afford, how I don't have savings either because every dollar goes toward basic survival. He brushed it off, told me I'm young and I'll figure it out. Told me I could get a 3rd job if I needed to. A 3rd job! Like that's just a casual solution. Like I'm not already exhausted, burnt out, and running on empty. I brought up the fact that he had decades to prepare for retirement. Decades where he could have been putting even small amounts away. He got defensive immediately, started talking about how he worked hard his whole life and deserved to enjoy his money while he was young enough to appreciate it, how he gave us a good childhood and those vacations were important family memories. And look, I get that. I do have good memories from those trips. But those memories don't pay bills. Those memories don't create a safety net. And more importantly, those memories shouldn't come at the cost of my entire financial future. What really gets me is that I'm the oldest. I have 2 younger siblings. They're not being asked to contribute to this plan, at least not yet. It's all falling on me because I was born first. Because apparently being the oldest child means I automatically signed up to be a parent to my own parent. Been losing sleep over this all week. I feel guilty, which I know is exactly what he's counting on. He's my dad. He did raise me. He did provide for me when I was a kid. But isn't that just what you're supposed to do as a parent? You don't have kids and then expect them to repay you financially for their own childhood. That's not how this is supposed to work. I've talked to a couple of close friends about it, and they all say the same thing, that this isn't fair, that I need to set boundaries, that I can't sacrifice my own future, my own chance at stability, my own possibility of ever having savings or a family of my own just because my dad didn't plan ahead. But then I think about what happens if I say no. Does that make me a bad son? Does that make me selfish? My dad's voice is in my head, that phrase he drilled into us for years. Family looks out for family. If I refuse to do this, am I failing at that? Am I abandoning him? At the same time, I'm angry. I'm so angry that I'm even in this position. I'm angry that he spent decades making choices that led to this moment and now wants me to deal with the consequences. I'm angry that he sees his own son as a retirement account instead of as a person with dreams and struggles and limitations. I can't do this. I know I can't. I'm barely surviving as it is. Taking on another person's full financial needs would destroy me. I'd never get out of this hole. I'd never be able to save for my own future. I'd never be able to retire myself because I'd be too busy funding someone else's retirement. But I also don't know how to say no without feeling like I'm betraying everything I was taught about family. I don't know how to have that conversation without it blowing up into something massive that tears relationships apart. I feel trapped, like there's no good answer here. Like no matter what I choose, I lose something important. Either I lose my future and my financial stability, or I lose my relationship with my dad and carry guilt for the rest of my life. This whole situation has made me realize something else, too. I need to make sure I never do this to my own kids, if I ever have any. I need to be responsible. I need to plan ahead. I need to make sure that my retirement is my problem, not theirs. Because this feeling, this weight of being told you're responsible for someone else's lack of planning, it's crushing. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how to move forward. All I know is that I can't be his retirement fund. I just can't. But saying that out loud, even just typing it here, makes me feel like the worst son in the world. Related comments. I'm going to be blunt here. Your dad had decades to figure this out. Literally decades. He chose trucks and vacations over his future. And now he expects you to pay for those choices? That's manipulative as hell. You don't owe him your entire financial life because he provided the bare minimum that parents are legally required to provide. Feeding and housing your kid isn't some heroic act that deserves lifelong repayment. It's literally what you sign up for when you have children. Set boundaries now before this gets worse. Trust me, it will get worse if you don't shut this down immediately. Comment. I might get downvoted for this, but I think there's some middle ground here. Look, your dad shouldn't have assumed you'd bankroll his entire retirement. That's not okay. But completely cutting him off when he's older and struggling doesn't sit right with me either. In a lot of cultures, taking care of aging parents is just what you do. Maybe you can't cover everything, but could you help with groceries once a month? Or pay for his phone bill? Something small that doesn't destroy your finances but still shows you care. I don't know, maybe I'm too old-fashioned, but the idea of letting your parents struggle when you could help even a little bit just feels wrong to me. Comment. OP. Serious question. Have your younger siblings been told about this plan yet? Because if he's only putting this on you and not them, that's a whole other level of messed up. Also, what does your mom think about all this? Is she on board with this insanity, or does she think he's lost his mind too? You need to have a family meeting with all of you present, including your siblings, and make it crystal clear that this isn't happening. Don't let him divide and conquer by having separate conversations with each of you. Comment. This happened to me. Different details, but same story. I'm 38 now, and I've been supporting my parents since I was 24. Know what I don't have? A house, savings, a retirement fund of my own, a family because I can't afford kids. My entire 20s and 30s have been spent working myself into the ground for people who never planned ahead. And you know what the worst part is? They're not even grateful. They act like I owe them this, like it's my duty. OP, please don't make my mistake. It doesn't get better. It only gets harder. Once you say yes once, you'll never be able to say no again. They'll guilt you forever. Save yourself while you still can. Comment. Okay, but did your dad actually explicitly say he expects you to pay for everything? Or are you maybe panicking and assuming the worst? Because take care of me could mean a lot of different things. Maybe he just wants help occasionally, not full financial support. I think you need to have another conversation with him where you ask specific questions about what he's actually expecting. Get real numbers. What does he think he'll need per month? What does he have coming in from Social Security or pension? You might be catastrophizing a situation that's actually more manageable than you think. Communication is key here before you blow up the whole relationship. Comment. Honestly, this is financial abuse. He's literally telling you that he planned to use you as his retirement account. That's not family looking out for family. That's a parent exploiting their child. And the fact that he waited until now to tell you? That's calculated. He waited until he's close to retirement so you'd feel guilty to say no. This is manipulation 100%. You need to tell him straight up that this isn't happening. He's got time to figure something else out. He can work longer, he can downsize, he can apply for assistance programs. But making you sacrifice your entire future because he couldn't be bothered to save? Absolutely not. Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm, even if that person is your parent. Write what you think about this situation. Also, if you like this video, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the bell to receive notifications about the latest videos. See you next time. Bye-bye.